Alright, Schlockmeister fans, continuing the tradition of Emmanuelle Mondays, we are watching Emmanuelle in Paradise. I think with all our adventures she'd been to Paradise before, but apparently not. Let's check it out.
Feel anything and unlock your deepest desires. This is the reality of the near future. An erotic landscape where anything is possible. Welcome to the world of Emmanuelle 2000.
This is the Sultan, and he's going to do business with this guy on the right, and that's the guy's wife. He has a harem there with a bunch of naked ladies, which I can't show you. The Sultan insists that the guy use his harem.
Honey, to refuse would be a slap in his face. You heard the Sultan. Thousands of years men have died trying. This stuff matters to him.
You want to do this! You're just looking for an excuse.
Me? An excuse?
An excuse to be with a harem.
Their mutual friend Emmanuelle shows up.
Anyway, it didn't matter. Look at her.
So romantic. It was undignified, really. You should have seen him. Well below his station.
I was. I behaved like a little boy.
There's gonna be a sandstorm.
Well, the wife talks to Emmanuelle while her husband runs off to the harem. And while I wish I could show you what happens next,
BLU-RAY.
you can use your imagination.
There's nothing to be afraid of inside here.
It's scaring her right now.
She's still upset that her husband's banging other chicks in the harem.
He thinks I have issues. And I need to work them out. He says that's why he's with the harem tonight and I'm not.
You know, you gave me a good idea.
So the two of them dress up like harem girls.
She's a pure beauty.
The Sultan is impressed.
I wish it were me seeing it tomorrow night.
He's going to pick out a special harem girl for his new client.
Prepare her for tomorrow evening. Make her as soft and feminine as possible.
Emmanuelle, meanwhile, hangs out with the Sultan.
I'll only show you if you promise not to tell anyone.
And they're going to tap into whatever happens. He runs into his special girl, doesn't recognize her as his wife.
I mean, this is fun and all, but it just made me realize I want to make love with my wife. See, I'm married, and I really love her. So, could we not just say that we did? I mean, I really don't want to offend the Sultan.
Oh my God.
Ashley?
And let me help you. Are you
Both sets immediately pair off then. And I can't show you much more.
I'm here for my appointment.
This movie's basically broken into 3 parts. In part 2, Emmanuelle goes to Japan.
Oh, you are a guest of Mr. Carroll. We have been expecting you. He has left special instructions that we take the very best care of you.
Great, how lovely.
That woman decides to take care of Emmanuelle in a special way, which I can't show you. Emmanuelle meets her friend Justin. Justin's a widower,
Hello.
but he's kind of fallen for his geisha girl.
What do you think of my little gift? I was beginning to think you'd never leave the bathhouse and I wouldn't have a chance to see you at all this trip.
Well, I can get really used to the steams, the massages, and herbal wraps, but...
No guessing, no argument.
That sounds perfect. Why don't you start dating your geisha?
There's also no sex. Geishas in the classic sense don't sleep with their charges.
But if you care so much for her, why not?
Well, Keiko comes from a long line of geishas. She was trained in a tradition that forbids it.
So, you two don't...
No.
I know you.
You saw a geisha girl overhearing their conversation. That was this girl.
Were you there?
I work there.
You?
You probably don't recognize me without my costume. Or my black wig.
I didn't know there were foreign geishas.
Well, there's only a few of us.
The two of them hit it off.
I wonder why.
Emmanuelle meets with the real geisha that he liked.
You don't have a boyfriend? No. But why not? You were so beautiful, so kind. You were making me blush. And I just wonder why you never took your relationship with Justin farther. He really seems to care about you.
Keiko right now because I have some bad news for him, I'm afraid.
What?
Well, it's not all bad news. There's some good news, too. I met the most amazing woman, so I won't be needing Keiko anymore.
She'll be heartbroken.
Did you hear what I said? I met an amazing woman.
But she's a gold digger.
Emmanuelle was saying that Keiko's going to be upset that I'm letting her go.
So what? She'll get over it. And she doesn't need a gift. Find me one instead. I'm your princess now. Lover. I'll be in here when you're finished with her. And let your geisha take care of you.
Well, he agrees to meet with Keiko one more time for one final massage.
No.
Manuel's tuned in.
A gift from Emmanuelle.
Yes. She brought me something too. I like Emmanuelle. Geisha house that you were leaving.
She gets naked, he gets turned on and says, "Let me massage you."
Who told you?
Another geisha. But I cannot tell you who.
I guess it doesn't matter anyway.
I suppose not.
Because it's not true.
Really? You're not leaving?
No, I'm not leaving.
Our third story features Emmanuelle and a couple of businessmen friend of hers.
What are you doing here?
They want to broker a deal, and she's trying to bring them together.
Wait a minute. What's going on?
See?
Don't
So
even
to
tease me like this.
spice up the
You know, I
deal a
was
bit, or at
out
least
there
to
last time you said I couldn't have you.
help broker the deal, they bring in some strippers.
This is not a game that only two.
Missed you too.
And they bring in this lady.
But what happened, Jonathan? You said you had real feelings for me. And you said that you loved me.
Oh, Maya, and I meant it.
So what? One weekend we're running away on a holiday together, and the next one you're gone?
Honey?
Well, he gets laid in the kitchen by that lady, and then still not enough, so they bring in another chick.
Annika?
I don't believe it. I can't believe you're here. You said you loved me.
Well, they get him laid twice,
I decided to fund Bill's DNA project after all.
and then he's all in.
Bless you, Jonathan.
Jonathan, you won't regret this. No, I won't. I'm a slayer. I always
But it turns
will.
out the deal is very much in his favor.
Win-win.
It's a sign of weakness. That's why I don't do business with friends. I have a reputation to protect. I must win, and everyone else must ultimately lose.
But then they bring in some chick that
We
was
own our own world,
in the
don't
Sultan's harem that this guy got to know once before.
we? As usual, you are the wisest of all, Emmanuelle. You're right. I'll do it. Have Bill call my lawyer tomorrow. We'll restructure the deal into something fair.
Time to get laid a third time.
Oh,
I can't show you much of what happens next as our movie ends, but both couples end up doing it. It's amazing Jonathan has anything left in the tank, but apparently he does. All right, let's talk about Emmanuelle in Paradise. Now, this is one of the Holly Sampson movies. It's in the fourth series of Emmanuelle's. It's the third adventure in that series. And this one actually does have an English NTSC American DVD release, which I have. But I was actually watching the box set here, the PAL box set. So anyway, this is actually, so far, the best I've seen of the three that I've seen in this series so far. It's basically broken up into three stories. The first story involves this Sultan. Sultan is played by the same actor who appeared in both of the previous Emmanuelle movies in the series in a different role. This guy is going to try to do business with the Sultan, and he has a harem, and it would be insulting to the Sultan if he didn't use his harem, so he insists that this guy uses harem. Of course, the guy brings his very busty wife, and she's really mad, but not mad enough to stop him from doing it. She just yells at him a little bit for wanting to go inside the harem, which the guy does, of course. Emmanuelle shows up. She's friends with the Sultan. She gets the idea that she should dress up, she and this wife should dress up as harem girls too, so they go inside the harem, and the busty wife gets picked by the Sultan to be the special guest of his new businessman, who, unbeknownst to him, is the husband of this girl. So the husband goes in and sees his wife, doesn't know it's his wife though, because she's got this veil on, which you can see right through, by the way, but somehow he didn't recognize it as his wife, and says, you know what, I really love my wife. I can't go through this. Let's just say we did, so I don't insult the Sultan. And then the woman takes off her veil and she sees it's Ashley, his wife. He's like, oh my God, Ashley. I think he was just bullshitting the whole time. He knew it was his wife. He wanted to get laid and just wanted to make himself look good for his wife. Actually, that's not what happened, but it's nice to think that makes sense. But anyway, so they end up doing it, and that's basically how that one ends. The second story involves Emmanuelle. She goes to Japan, and she meets this guy named Justin, a friend of hers, who's this widower. He's fallen in love with his Keiko, his geisha girl, but they don't have sex because geisha girls don't have sex. This other gold-digging geisha overhears and comes on to him later on, and then he falls in love with her like in one night. And then he tells Emmanuelle. Emmanuelle says, you should really go back to Keiko because she really likes you, blah, blah, blah. So he agrees to meet Keiko one more time, and Keiko gets naked and has him massage her because he got turned on. And then he says that I'm not leaving, and they become a couple then, and I guess that's how that one ends. The third and final story is Emmanuelle somewhere in the desert in California or Vegas somewhere, and she's trying to get her two businessmen friends together to broker a deal. One guy's a really aggressive guy who doesn't like to lose, so he's the one who's going to be ponying up the money though. So they get him laid by two different chicks, and then he agrees to broker the deal, but it's going to be very heavily weighted towards him. They think it's unfair, so they bring in this third chick who is one of the Sultan's harem girls, I guess. She comes in, and he's like, whoa, where'd you find her? It's Sheba. And then somehow that convinces him to have a fair deal. He gets laid for a third time, Emmanuelle, and the other guy get laid, and that's how our movie ends. Emmanuelle in Paradise. Like I said, this one was actually pretty entertaining as far as these movies go. Sometimes there's just so much boning that goes on in these movies that it kind of gets old and a little slow, a little boring, but it passes the time. And of course, everybody looks great when they're naked here in this movie. They always have the lovely, lovely ladies. But this one, actually, I kind of enjoyed the plot a little bit. It was ridiculous and silly, but it flowed and it just kept my interest. I wasn't bored at all by it. So there you go. Emmanuelle in Paradise. I will leave a link to that DVD. I believe that one is still somewhat available and somewhat affordable. You might pay about $40 for it, but at least it's affordable in some way. Or you can find the PAL DVD box set, which is extremely, extremely rare. It took me 4 years to find this, but I'm glad I did. If you can find it, power to you. Check it out. Leave some comments. Emmanuelle in Paradise. Watch it. Bye.